two quick questions. Where did you get your pants? And also, is your mom from Mexico, or do you have any Latin background?
The first one is Limited Express in Glendale, very glamorous place. And actually, Leslie and I have been wearing the same pants this entire weekend, as you can notice. Hers are in black.
Except mine yesterday had the tag still on them, so I don't know how
Did you steal these?
Sure. No, I got it off.
You bought these? Okay.
I actually almost bought the same shirt that she's wearing today, too, so I'm so happy I didn't do that. It would be a little embarrassing. And also, my mom is from Mexico. She's from Guadalajara, Mexico. So I grew up speaking Spanish to her. She would always speak to me. She would speak to me in Spanish, and I would always speak to her back in English. So I grew up that way. My dad doesn't speak any Spanish to this day, which is very interesting.
Excellent. Okay. Yes. This is Tina from Anaheim. She has a question for Chad. Hi, Chad. How does it feel to have Emily back?
It's great. It's really, really nice. You know, I took a special interest in that story because that's, you know, the story is truthfully what is the reason that I'm still on the show. You know, I mean, it was such a big story when I came on that everybody just really loved it. And so when Amber left, Amber was so good that I was just very picky when and who they chose, and I got lucky. I got very lucky.
Nice. Where are you? Ellen.
This is Anna from Anaheim. She has a question for Natalia. Natalia, how did you get your break on General Hospital?
I was working at the Home Depot. I was working at Home Depot on Sunset in Hollywood selling appliances and working in the garden department. I know more about plumbing and hardware and soil and all kinds of stuff than you would ever want to know. I could pretty much build a house, I think. But I was working there, and then I had an audition for General Hospital. And I was actually home in Georgia visiting my parents for Christmas and wasn't able to make the first audition, but I sent a tape in to the casting director and then got a second audition when I got back. So it worked out that way.
You were thinking about giving up acting, weren't you?
Yeah, I was pretty much, I was ready to give up, so I went home and I was kind of just ready to go back home to Georgia. I was missing my family a lot. And just so blessed and feel so grateful that this happened. So it's amazing how much my life has changed in the past 4 months. My dad was here yesterday and he couldn't believe it. He was on cloud nine, just in shock. So it was great.
Quartermaines are pretty happy too.
I have Ann from Montebello who has a question for the whole panel.
Hi, I just want to say I love you all. Alan, you're my all-time favorite Princess Cinderella. I just want to say, how do you guys learn your lines? I mean, you guys make it look so easy, like it's actually coming from you. And that's a lot to learn, it looks like.
You know, that's not really the toughest part of the job, and people who are not in the business think that is the hardest part of the job. It becomes very natural. I mean, it's like lifting weights. You keep making the muscle stronger, and you get better at it. And it's not as if we cross the T's and dot the I's. We say what's on the page, but we don't say it exactly as it's written, because the more comfortable you become with the character, the easier it is for you to speak and respond. So, you know, that's the job, and it's truly not one of the hard parts of the job.
How do you all learn your lines? Do you learn them at night? Do you learn them there that day? How does it work?
I learn them at night. Everything I do the night before. I have to be outside when I learn them.
Why?
It was how it started for me. I was living in an apartment in Hollywood when I first got the job, and the only place that I had solitude, because I had a roommate, was if I went out on the balcony. So I would shut it and I'd go out there and, you know, relax out there. So that was just, it's just what,
it's
you
like
know.
A mental thing?
The mental thing. So it's like where I have to remember.
Don't ever get a job in New York. You'd freeze to death.
I know, right?
Leslie, how do you learn your lines?
Well, I discovered, it depends again on the call that you have if you're up real early in the morning, but I have a little trick I learned a long time ago, is that if you go to bed or you go to sleep having the last thing you think about is those lines. That when you wake up in the morning, it's very funny. If you've read the script, you've read all your lines thoroughly through, and you go put them down. When you wake up, it's amazing. But you thought you didn't know the night before, you really have somewhere. At least it's worked for me.
Yeah.
It makes it easier when you pick it up in the morning again.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Do you do the
In a lot
same?
of
Do you
lines.
all do them at night? Natalia, you do them at night?
Yeah, I'm the same way. It takes me about 4 days. I start about 4 days ahead of time and start trying to get it in my head. This guy is amazing, I have to say. Just the day before, sometimes I'll be working on my lines and he'll come in with, and it seems to take him just one night to get all of this dialogue, so I don't know. It's hands down to him for that. So it takes me about 4 days. I just start working on it then.
Tyler?
Well, me, my wife is Emily, Lucky, Stefan, Zander. She plays all the characters.
She does?
Yeah, she's
That's
really
a
good
help.
at that.
Yeah, she runs them with you. That's great.
I usually like to read them the night before, because it's like, I think what Leslie said, the day before, it gets me for thinking about that new day, because
The next
sometimes
day.
there's so much going on. I can't think about 120 pages for a week. I have to think about each day, one day at a time. And so that's usually the preparation I do the night before. I just sleep on it and stuff like that. And hey, to answer that question real quick, since I don't, I have that special someone in my life, but I extend the open invitation, because Lucky needs a new girlfriend since I have no romance anymore. So please, come by. Lucky needs love.
Also, what they didn't tell you in this, the show General Hospital shoots, they start early in the morning, and if you have those scenes, you're brought in for hair and makeup, and then you do those scenes. And all day long, it's staggered. All day long, and they only really give you like a couple of hours before you have to actually be on the set, knowing it, dressed, made up, everything. Be ready to go. So they have to steal moments in time with each other to run lines. So these are very proficient actors. They can do it on their own. Okay. Rebecca, where are you?
This is Martha from Studio City, and she has a question